If you were to bite off a kneecap, how would it look?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, Adam.
How are you, man?
I'm good. We're due for a good show today, so I'm excited.
It's Friday.
Oh, so wait.
There's somebody to my left that I just saw walking in.
Are you celebrating?
Excuse me, is somebody late to work today? I think so.
I think we just heard Adam celebrate a Friday. I think that's more important.
Oh, well, no, it's Friday because, I'm happy for everybody here.
Okay,
I'm happy
I
every
got
day.
you. I got you.
I'm happy every day. Regardless, Kennedy's alarm didn't go off this morning, so she'll be walking in any moment, and I will be giving her a ton of grief throughout the show today. So
Fish is ready for
that
it.
That is definitely going to be fun, but we'll start, Jeff, with James Jones's comments on Matthew Stafford, saying he essentially has the same arm talent as Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. He's in that echelon of talent. Kind of walk me through, first, what you made of the comments, and secondly, is he on to something there?
The only thing he's on to is the arm ability. Like, obviously, talent, there's a discrepancy because with the two other quarterbacks he mentioned, Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, they can win football games. And I understand you can blame the organization he was a part of, but at the end of the day, yes, Matthew Stafford can make similar throws, like with his arm angle. He can do tight window throws, incredibly difficult throws, and I think that's what you can compare to, an Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes, guys that have the ability to make the football turn a certain way through the air. It's just crazy abilities, but. Nonetheless, I digress because being able to throw the football doesn't necessarily translate to W's. And I think that's where an Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes, yes, they have good organizations, but at the end of the day, those guys, they can win games. And Matthew, yes, he is the fourth quarter comeback guy, but it just hasn't translated in Detroit. So I think that's the only difference. I saw what he meant. His initial comment made sense. Yes, his arm talent is one of the best in the league. He has the ability to make every single football throw on the field. I truly believe that. And so does Aaron Rodgers, and so does Patrick Mahomes. But in terms of overall talent, it's tough. That's a tough argument because I could argue that a Patrick Mahomes or an Aaron Rodgers a little more transcendent. But in terms of just arm ability, hey, Matthew Stafford's one of the best, and he's definitely up there. I don't know too many guys other than those echelon of quarterbacks that can make those type of throws. So that's what I took from it. Yes, I agree with an arm angle, his arm talent, but overall talent, no, we're going to have a different conversation. Yeah.
Well, I don't think they were discussing overall talent. It was strictly arm talent.
Which I agree with.
But regardless, good morning, Kennedy. Good morning. How are you? How's everything?
I was getting here so fast I almost killed a squirrel.
Well, for somebody who loves the environment and animals, that would have been a bad move for you.
I know. I was like... And it was like one of the really tiny little guys. I was like, come on, man. I just got to get to work. But it's Friday. Woohoo. Fish, have you celebrated that it's Friday yet?
Yeah, he got his celebration.
Okay, good.
All right, so James Jones, Matthew Stafford, he thinks he has the same arm talent as Aaron Rodgers. He kind of does, but he's up there in the group. He doesn't have better arm talent. And nobody ever questioned Matthew Stafford's arm talent here in Detroit. You got a guy who could make probably every throw on the field. Now, whether or not he turned out to be a very good quarterback is really up to you, but his arm talent is definitely up there. I could make that he has elite. I could make an argument he has elite arm talent. That doesn't mean he's an elite quarterback. That doesn't mean he's going to be elite in Los Angeles. What that does mean, though, is Sean McVay, one of the most brilliant offensive-minded head coaches in the NFL right now, has a weapon he's never had before. Was Jared Goff able to make throws in Los Angeles? Of course. But Matthew Stafford offers a little bit more, and that little bit more is anywhere from 10 to 15 new plays automatically in the playbook to start the season. So I think it's a great fit. How does it fit within their offense? The Rams are really a run-heavy team. If you look at them in the last 4 years, 3 of the last 4 years, they've been in the top 10 in rush attempts. They are a committed football team to running the ball. They really are committed, But what Matthew Stafford offers, and not just Matthew Stafford, it's the arm talent Matthew Stafford brings, the long-term kind of, if you want to call it experience he brings, is something that I think is a plus for LA. Whether or not he's going to deliver in the big games, which is something he clearly was unable to do in Detroit, we'll have to wait and see. Matthew Stafford has an opportunity in the next 2 years to write his legacy.
Yep.
The narrative will be, if he doesn't deliver, he just wasn't it. If he delivers, the narrative becomes, how in 12 seasons did the Detroit Lions not build a contender around this guy? And I think that's the question that we're all going to be asking if Matthew Stafford is successful in Los Angeles. And, you know, James Jones's comments, I didn't find it awful.
More people have said it. Dan Orlovsky said it as well. I mean, guys think he has one of the upper echelon of arm talent, so it's not a crazy thing to say. It makes sense.
Well, there's so many quarterbacks with that crazy arm talent. Even Trey Lance. Trey Lance has, like, wicked arm talent. It's
ability to make those tough throws.
Well, that's different. We're talking, like, pure arm strength. The ability to throw at
Is that what he was saying? Just arm strength?
Well, he's talking about his arm talent. That doesn't necessarily mean he's the most accurate quarterback. But, you know, Stafford coming out of college was super gifted. So I didn't hate the comments. I don't think it completely defines who Matthew Stafford is, because he has led dozens of fourth quarter comebacks. He has produced good moments. You see a lot of good things that you like, and I'm sure that's why Sean McVay is very excited. But Stafford needs to deliver in the big games, and there's no better opportunity than in the hardest division in football. You play the Niners twice, the Seahawks twice, the Cardinals twice. You have 6 games already booked that I would consider very important, big-time games that he's going to have to prove himself in throughout the year. So time will only tell with Stafford in LA. If you want to judge it now, be my guest. I think it's very early. I think he's in the best situation he's ever been in, outside of maybe the 11-5 year under Caldwell, but we all know how that ended out, or that ended up. So, again, he's complimenting his arm talent. He's not saying Matthew Stafford is at the level of an Aaron Rodgers, of a Patrick Mahomes. No. Don't misunderstand. And if he is saying that, he's totally wrong and should never talk football again. But just on arm talent, there are probably 5-6 guys in the league who just have that arm talent that you just can't teach. And Stafford's one of them. Stafford's one of them, Jeff.
I think that, honestly, you listening to you speak right there, I think the best point you made was about the if the Rams aren't able to have success with a Matthew Stafford, then we're looking at the organization, because right now, as talented as Matthew Stafford is, especially with his arm ability, to make every throw on the football field, so on and so on, if the LA Rams can't find success with him, I think that's where the narrative about why can't the Detroit Lions build a team around Matthew Stafford? Well, that'll answer the question. If he has success with the LA Rams, then of course the Detroit Lions had a guy that could make every throw on the football team on the field, and who's someone like Jay Cutler. Obviously on Pat McAfee. Thanks for pointing that out for me in the chat. I watched that interview when he said Matthew Stafford was elite. That's another guy, but. This will all be proven with the Los Angeles Rams. Him going there, everyone's predicting them to be in double-digit wins, and if he can accomplish that, we could start having that conversation, or get close, win a playoff game, start getting close to a Super Bowl. It's going to take some years to develop that, but yes, if that LA Rams team has a disappointing season, I think, man. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt the resume of Matthew Stafford. Because considering how talented he is.
Well, the definition of like a rough season, I think they're playoff contenders. I think they're.
Let's say they just missed short.
Well, if they don't make the playoffs, it's a definite disappointment. They made the playoffs last year, but again, they upgraded at the most important position. Whether you like Stafford or not, he's a better quarterback than Goff.
They're good. They got to be good for 10 wins.
Oh,
minimum.
Easily. 17-game schedule, you're looking at 10, 11 wins for this team. Although, again, it's in one of the most difficult divisions, but. This is why you brought Stafford to LA. You didn't bring him to not make the playoffs. You brought him in not only to make the playoffs, but to get to an NFC championship and ideally a Super Bowl. That's why you made the trade you made. That's why you gave up 2 first-round picks. You did all of that to put your team in a position to get back to the Super Bowl, which they've already done with Jared Goff. Now they want to do it again with Matthew Stafford. So, Stafford gets a lot of a lot of good, he's revered by his peers. He's respected by his peers. Even Aaron Rodgers has come out on multiple interviews and said the guy in the number 9 in Detroit, or formerly in Detroit, I should say now, he's special.
Yeah.
Now, we know Matthew for what he is. He is what he is. Only Matthew Stafford can change that narrative, and it's going to be on him. You want to critique him, you want to praise him. I could care less. All I know is his next 2 years will define his career. Either it was always on him and you are unable to build a contender around him, or he played in Detroit. That's why he never fulfilled his, let's say, his potential. So that's where I'm at with it. I don't hate the comments. I don't love them either. But arm talent's arm talent. It's nothing I'm going to freak out over. We all knew Stafford had arm talent. That was never really the question with him. And this not really the question with Aaron Rodgers. When you want to talk about one of the more talented quarterbacks in the NFL, usually you mention Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, he's 0-34 entering the fourth quarter down against winning football teams. Why? Why doesn't... It's not a why. It's a rhetorical question. I know why. But there's a difference between being talented and putting it all together.
Mm-hmm.
You can be very talented and very successful, but that doesn't mean you get to the upper echelon of multiple championships, multiple MVPs, multiple Super Bowl MVPs. Like, again, that's for the elite. Not that Aaron Rodgers isn't great, but there's levels to it. And there's just there's one level higher than Aaron Rodgers, which he is yet to reach, regardless of his talent. And that's the conversation with Joe Montana, a Peyton Manning, a Tom Brady. That's the echelon. Well, Tom Brady's kind of in his own wing above it.
I get what you're saying, though.
You get where I'm going with it. So, yeah, I didn't hate the comments. I didn't hate the comments overall, Jeff.
No, neither did I. I mean, again, he didn't say he's a elite, top-level quarterback. He just said it simply as arm talent, which I agree with. I mean, Dan Orlovsky said it. I mean, I can agree with it. Even when he's in Detroit, he said it, so I'm not turning up now. So, no, I didn't have a problem with what he said at all.
All right. Well, you guys are listening to Woodward Sports, featured on the Roar 935 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. But before we go, Adam, can you tell us about Northwestern Tech?
Whew, Northwestern Tech. You mean my bookie? Come on, Broadwell.
Okay.
Come on, Broadwell.
Sorry.
That's the Northwestern Tech man over there.
That's true. We didn't even have it yesterday, though.
My bookie.
Okay,
Let me
fine.
tell you. I bet on Ohio State to cover yesterday, and of course they covered by half a point. That was the most nerve-wracking football game I have
that
ever
first
watched.
half.
And I'll take the 13.5 points. Thank you so much to my bookie. Bet from anywhere, anytime. Use the code Woodward to sign up. They'll match your deposit up to 50%. You put in $100, you get $50. Put in $200, you get $100. You know the drill. I repeat it every single day. And of course, please be responsible, guys. If you have a gambling problem, call the National Problem Gambling Hotline at 1-800-522-4700. We'll catch you right after the break.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Wood on the War. I knew it was going to happen today. Today was the day.
You get for coming in
Today
late.
was the day.
It's not on your game.
I know. I'm sorry, everyone. All right, welcome back to Morning Wood. We've got Jeff. We've got Adam, and we have a special guest. Adam, you want to tell us about it?
We do. We have none other than a good friend of mine, but also a good friend of the show, and a man whose opinion I do respect a ton. Michigan State's own, I should say also. Justin Spiro. Justin, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great to be here. I gotta say though, before we get started, why is Jeff allowed to wear a hat? I mean, if I
don't know.
Listen,
it's insulting.
I wore
to
a hat
everybody
yesterday.
without hair.
I wore a hat yesterday, and the stream went down. So you know what? It's a trend that I got to stop doing.
Yeah,
I don't like that
take it off
trend.
right now.
Well, here I am. I'm an old man. I'm fighting a receding hairline. I'm very self-conscious, and there's the man before me with the beautiful mane but he's got it under a
Right.
hat. So I don't know. It's a little upsetting, but I'll try to stay focused at the topic at hand.
I didn't want to take we're doing an interview with you today. You know what I mean? I didn't want to take anything from the interview. I got the hat on. Focus on my man Justin, and we'll get this thing started.
All right, well, Justin, let me do the honors and get this started. I'll start with Michigan State. Overall, I want your outlook for the program and Mel Tucker in 2021. What are your expectations going into the season? What are you expecting from the football team, not only from a win-loss record, but really, are they going to develop enough for you to say after 2 years of Mel Tucker, it's like, all right, we're heading in the right direction?
I think so. I mean, really, the over-under in Vegas everywhere I've seen is 5. I think that's about right. I think, most Michigan State fans are looking at, like, look, if this is a bowl-eligible team, we're happy. Like, if it's 6-6, that's a great year, too. So I think that's kind of where it is. I think they're going to be between 5 and 6 wins. I think the fan base will be very happy about the 6 if they get there. I think it's a tangible sign of progress. Really, it's not just the win-loss record, though, this year. I know, big picture, that's all that matters, but I care more about that in year 3 or 4. It's kind of how it looks. So even though they had 2 extremely rewarding wins last year, Michigan, a huge upset over Northwestern last year, the 5 losses were abominable. I mean, they had 2 great wins and then 5 like humiliating losses. So if this team goes 5-7, losses are really close, you can kind of point to that as we're going in the right direction. I think that's a very strong year 2. Again, especially how weird year 1 was and how empty that cupboard was when Mel Tucker got there.
Well,
so I think they're on a good path.
Well, Justin, before we get into year 2, Mel Tucker clearly 2 signature wins last season. What are your concerns, or I should probably the better question would be, what are you looking for out of Mel Tucker outside of the win-loss column, where he probably does need another two classes before you can really give him a good look? What are you looking for from the team overall, how they're going to play? Are you looking for a specific style of play? Are you looking for Mel Tucker to improve on the defensive side of the ball, because they did struggle last season in most games?
Yeah, I mean, part of what Mel Tucker's talking about is exactly what I think needs to be the mentality. That this is never going to be a Boise State, let's try to throw the ball 50 times a game. They are leaning into the Michigan State culture. Mel Tucker seems to be embracing that. So I think we want to get to a modern version of the Mark D'Antonio era. I think D'Antonio had sort of let things pass him by a little bit, but you don't want to have a complete departure from your ideal. I mean, Michigan State, when they have been good historically, dating back to the 50s, it's a top 5 defense. It's Kill, Bubba Smith, first overall pick 50 years ago. You look at their defenses throughout the D'Antonio era. That's kind of what it looks like when they're good. So I think they are building towards that. I think he's already doing everything off the field in terms of recruiting and how they're approaching their recruiting and appealing the young guys. He's already doing all that stuff exactly as I would want him to do it. So all the signs are good. He appeals to the youth in a way that Mark D'Antonio never did. I think D'Antonio was ill-equipped for the social media era, where Mel Tucker was like made in a lab for the social media era. So who knows about the X's and O's? We still haven't really seen this guy coach in a tight spot, fourth quarter, big decision on the horizon, either in Colorado or here. So there's still, jury out on that. But in terms of the program and the CEO that he is, I think he's been an A+ so far.
Thank you for joining us, Justin. But obviously, now that we got you here, I got to address the quarterback situation, because Mel Tucker hasn't named a starting quarterback, and I get the strategic approach to it of not keeping that information. But you got a senior transfer out of Temple, Anthony Russo, had a decent 2019, and then you got a sophomore in Peyton Thorne, who's slowly getting more comfortable. Who's your vote, to get the job, or ultimately, who do you believe will be the starting quarterback for Michigan State this year?
The guy I'm rooting for is also the guy I think that'll get it. I think Anthony Russo gets the nod. I actually appeared on this show today hoping you guys had heard. So I was going to ask you if you knew who was starting. I don't think anybody does. I'll tell you what, not to toot the horn here, but I do have a lot of friends in and around the program. Mm-hmm. And I have had people that I trust reliably tell me both guys. Like, there's guys that are saying it's definitely Russo. There's guys that are saying, oh, it's definitely Thorne. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, people have been wrong before, but I've never had 3 people on each side saying it's definitely this guy or the other. So I don't know. I think they've really played this perfectly. If your goal was to muddy the water and have people have no idea, but the mystery will end in a few hours, and then from there, I think we're going to know who the guy is. But I think it will be Russo. That's who I'm rooting for. I had a big event at my house, Michigan State event, and Thorne and Russo were both invited, and Thorne didn't respond, and Russo responded enthusiastically and attended. So I'm a little biased. I was on Team Russo by default. But I think he's more of the guy, Big Ten. He's 6'5", 245. Right. He's got the big arms. So, I mean, Thorne can look beautiful in September, but we're a Big Ten team. What's it look like in November, December? If it's snowing, if it's 8 degrees, who's got the arm to cut through the wind? That's Russo all day. So I think he's got the inside track. Who knows? But that's my lean.
Okay. Justin, I want to transition over a little bit to somebody who's on the hot seat down over in Ann Arbor, and that's Jim Harbaugh. Regarding Jim Harbaugh, Jeff and I both believe that if he loses to Mel Tucker year 2 and falls to 0-2 against Mel Tucker, that is probably the most fireable offense of the season he could have outside of having a dumpster fire season. What are your thoughts on, one, if Jim Harbaugh does lose to Michigan State, is that enough for you to get rid of him? And two, do you believe that Jim Harbaugh still is the right guy for Michigan?
Well, in principle, yes. I think in practice they would ever fire him mid-season under any circumstances? Definitely not. I mean, it's debatable whether they'd fire him even after the season. If they weren't going to do it last year, when are you going to do it? So, I don't know. I think if they ever do depart, it'll be an amicable thing at the end where they say, okay, we're both moving on. But whether they should, whether it is a fireable offense or should be, absolutely. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a coach was fired mid-season. It'll never happen. The fact that they lost last year in that game, I don't care how shaky Michigan was. Michigan, at the end of the day, sent multiple guys to the pros. Michigan State sent none. I mean, it was 2 undrafted free agents. Just, sort of in historic fashion, Michigan State finally had a guy not drafted. So last year was so unacceptable. Their fan base agrees too. It's interesting though. Like they're over under at Vegas is 7.5. And you have even the biggest Michigan fans I know, no one is saying 11 wins. I haven't seen that anywhere. They're saying, we'll be happy with 9-3. It's like, really? Like another loss to Ohio State and 3 losses? You guys hated Lloyd Carr for this. The way that has shifted in people's minds from when he was hired, brought here to win national championships ostensibly to now. I'm not happy with that as a Michigan State fan, and my school doesn't have the resources and history Michigan does. So it's amazing to me that people are like, 9 wins would be good. Not for me, but for this team probably. But big picture for Harbaugh, I want him out unless he surprises us with like a 10-2 season or better, and I don't think that'll happen.
Well, Justin, that's my biggest problem probably with the Michigan program overall is this unrealistic expectation of their own program. I think they overhype themselves. Their brand is very strong. I think we can all agree. But the football team is exactly what Jim Harbaugh's delivered in his 6 seasons so far in Michigan. This is nothing new. They never win the Big Ten championship. They always get really close come the end of the season. And then they lose to Ohio State. They've lost 17 of the last 20 meetings to Ohio State. So I'm not sure what Michigan fans are crying over. This is what you've been, even under Bo Schembechler. You've never been a national, contender for a consistent amount of time. Michigan State has been more relevant. Wisconsin has been more relevant in the last 10, 15 years when it comes to winning Big Ten. So I don't get this narrative surrounding Jim Harbaugh. Now, did he come in to deliver a national championship and a Big Ten title? Absolutely. And he hasn't delivered that, and he's failed miserably against Ohio State. But who hasn't as a Michigan head coach? So I struggle to be on the side where Jim Harbaugh isn't the answer in Ann Arbor. I still think he is. I always use this argument whenever I do talk about him. I compare his first 6 seasons to Dabo Swinney's. And if you compare them, they're relatively similar. Jim Harbaugh, 49-22. Dabo Swinney, 51-23. Except Jim Harbaugh's strength of schedule is in the 5s, and Dabo's was in the 3. The only difference was Dabo Swinney had Deshaun Watson recruited come year 7, and they lost in the national championship, and then of course they won it. Then he won it with Lawrence, and then he lost it again with Lawrence. So that's what really brought Clemson to that level. And if you're Michigan and you're trying to be optimistic, like, all right, how are we going to deliver, a consistent title contender? You got to get the quarterback right. He clearly hasn't done it yet, but that's not to say he doesn't. Maybe it's J.J. McCarthy. Maybe Cade McNamara has a good season and they win 9 or 10 games, but I don't get this perception from Michigan fans where they feel like they're entitled to be a 9-10 win team. They've been an 8-9 win team at best under Lloyd Carr, even Bo Schembechler. They had 97 and 03. Am I missing something, Justin?
Well, the Dabo thing really quick, I understand the comparison in terms of that first half decade in the role. The one difference is Harbaugh started off strong and then slowly went off the cliff, where Dabo was kind of middling for a few years and then started to get sort of on the ascent. So, yes, like taking a step back just in a vacuum, their first 5 years, 5-6 years are similar, but the trajectory and sort of the path that it was going are a little bit different. But here's what I'll say about the whole Michigan fan expectation, and here's where I'll defend them a little bit. I know you're a big fan of Colin Cowherd, as am I, and Kirk Herbstreit was on his podcast last week, and they were talking about Harbaugh and Michigan expectations, and Herbstreit repeated the same thing that Cowherd has said, that Joel Klatt has said, similar to what you just said. Oh, they were never this good. Why are we even asking this of them? But I'll just put it this way. If Michigan State, with a much smaller brand, with much smaller coffers in their possession, can beat an undefeated Urban Meyer team twice, I don't go to the playoff, win multiple Big Ten titles. I don't think it's unreasonable for Michigan fans to strive for that. So we can get into the semantics of whether they're entitled to it. I agree with you. They're certainly not entitled to that. There's no basis where they should feel entitled to that. They have not earned a sense of entitlement. So they do have a little bit of an unearned sense of entitlement. But as far as striving for that and saying these are our expectations, whether or not they've been met in the last 20 years or 50 years, doesn't matter. I defend them on that. I wanted the same thing for Mark D'Antonio in Michigan State and John L. Smith before him and Bobby Williams before him. I was never content to say, we're Michigan State. If we're 8-4, it's great. Like, yeah, I had no reason to expect more, but I still wanted more, and I think Michigan State proved that more can be had. Clemson was in the gutter for like 20 years. Now look at them. Michigan has the infrastructure to justify higher expectations and higher demands. So I defend their fan base a little bit on that, not on the entitlement, but on the hope and the strive and the expectation.
I appreciate that, Justin. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining us this morning. I do plan on having you on more often. It's always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you again for joining, and we'll look forward to hearing from you soon. All right, and good luck tonight for Michigan State.
I'm happy to do it anytime. Love you guys, and Jeff's got to lose the hat next time. That's my only condition.
All right, Jeff. Well, he took it off now.
I do what Justin says. Look at that. It's
best of luck to Michigan State tonight against Northwestern.
Yep.
Go green. Have a good show, guys.
Yep.
Thanks.
See you, Justin.
Take care, Justin.
See ya.
All right. Well, that was Justin Spiro, everybody. We can't thank him enough for joining the show this morning. When we get back from the break, we are going to talk about TJ Hockenson. Jared Goff made some interesting comments on the young, promising tight end. We'll discuss that right after the break. But before we go to break, Jeff, if you could please tell everybody at home about Northwestern Tech.
Oh, I got you. Listen, you could start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Wood. We've got Jeff, we've got Adam, we've got Fish, we've got Alex. Oh, and myself. I'm Heaven. All right, so Hockenson, will he come out on top? I don't know. Jared Goff thinks he could be the very best tight end, but where do you guys think he will fall on the list come the end of the season, Jeff?
First off, I love that Jared Goff said that. Obviously, you want your quarterback to have the confidence in you, but if we look at the top 5 tight ends in the league, and man, like I'd said before, yeah, TJ can be top 4. I used to say all this stuff, but actually looking at the top 5 tight ends, you start to realize some things. Because number 1, we got Travis Kelce. Obviously, I think he deserves to be the number 1 tight end, no doubt. And I think when healthy, and obviously we haven't really seen him healthy in about a season or two, I think George Kittle's the best tight end because when he was healthy and he played a full season, he had over 1,300 yards. I mean, the guy is a yak. Talk about yak king of this generation. He's the tight end yak king. So I really think, and his blocking ability in the run game is unmatched. His value. So I think he's the second best tight end. And then you got a Darren Waller who easily could have been 2. I'm not going to argue too much with you. The last 2 years, he's put up over 1,000 yards receiving, and he's been a pretty consistent option in Oakland or now in Las Vegas. I want to see him do it a little more though, a little more consistency. But other than that, we go down the list. Those are your top 3 for me. My 4th, this is hard, but I got Kyle Pitts, and it's because I truly believe, like, after this season, he's going to be in this conversation, and I'm going to put him there already because I see it. Kyle Pitts, his upside, I think, is higher than a Mark Andrews and a T.J. Hockenson. It is. Like, he is the highest selected tight end in quite some time. He has the guy is a wide receiver, like a Darren Waller, who plays the tight end position. And in Atlanta, he's getting targets. He's going to get as much. He's got Calvin Ridley, and now you got a Hayden Hurst who had a pretty good year last year. But it's the Kyle Pitts show. He's getting in there. They don't have a run game. They have Mike Davis, but they're going to be feeding them boys, those receivers. So I got Kyle Pitts as number 4, and then number 5. This was hard because you could say Mark Andrews, which I wouldn't be angry at you, but I got T.J. Hockenson because and let me explain why. I think T.J. Hockenson, number 1, is more of the vocal point of this offense. I understand you could make the argument, well, he has Jared Goff. Well, Lamar Jackson's Mark Andrews' quarterback, and that's a run-heavy offense. They're going to be focused on, number 1, Lamar making plays. Now they have more receivers. They got a Sammy Watkins. They have Hollywood Brown. They got other guys. And I understand Lamar favors his tight ends, but I think T.J. Hockenson is... their numbers were similar last year, so it's a hit or miss between the two. But I got T.J. Hockenson, and that might be just because I really believe in the guy, and I think he'll make that jump this year to close to 1,000. I think he could be 800, 900 yards.
Hockenson?
Yes.
Okay, so
he's my top 5. So that's my top 5 there. Mark Andrews, he could be 6th.
So you're off a little bit.
Okay.
Let me
tell me why you
let
think
me walk
I'm
you
wrong.
through the first 3. I don't think we're going to disagree.
Okay.
All right. It's clearly Kelsey, Kittle, and Waller.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts, I love that you put yourself out there and put him at 4. I almost wanted to agree with it. I have Kyle Pitts at 5. T.J. Hockenson is at 4.
Okay.
Kyle Pitts hasn't caught a ball in the NFL yet. We do have to be mindful, although we both feel his ceiling is probably higher than TJ's.
Hold on, I got to call you out. You're the most advocate on quarterbacks who's never played in the NFL.
No,
and you talk about these quarterbacks, Justin Fields and Mac Jones. These guys are great. And now I'm talking about Kyle Pitts, who hasn't played, and I think he has the potential. And you're like, well, he hasn't played.
You're putting him as a top 5 tight end in the NFL. I didn't say Justin Fields and Mac Jones were top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
The tight end
There's
group,
a big difference.
Listen, you can easily slide up there. If you're a guy like Kyle Pitts, how many years will it take for him to get...
I just told you he's 5, and I think you're overreacting right now. But let me finish my point on T.J. Hockenson.
Okay, go on.
All right.
It's not that the point of you
came
saying
into the year. He exploded his rookie year. Week 1 against Arizona, he battled injuries for the remainder of the season. Nothing's really special. George Kittle, 550-plus yards year 1, and then he went over 1,377 year 2, over 1,000 year 3, and then, of course, last year, really injured. Still got to, 600-700 yards receiving, but he only played 8 games. So Kittle is still elite, and he's only in year 5. So for me, Kelsey... Waller and Kittle, I don't care what order. Kelsey's just got to be 1. I could care less. Hockenson is going to be 4 because this is the year T.J. Hockenson will have to eclipse 1,100 yards receiving. That is my expectation for T.J. Hockenson this year. 1,100 yards. Anything under 1,000 is unacceptable. It's unacceptable for a top 5 tight end. So in my book, T.J. Hockenson is 4 at the moment. I think Pitts is a strong 5. I do agree with you, although Mark Andrews is the number 1 target in Baltimore.
Right.
When they're running the play action, they are looking for Mark Andrews.
And I agree.
So he's someone I think can get 800-900 yards receiving this year. He's a reliable tight end. But to put Pitts at 4, I think it's too much. I think 5 is fair. I'm willing to go out with you on a limb and say he's already a top 5 tight end. Just given his talent, man. When Calvin Johnson came into the league, Game 1, he ran an end. What do they call it? He ran a jet sweep, and you're like, this guy can do everything. And that's what you're going to see. Game 1, you saw it in the preseason. Kyle Pitts is going to be unguardable for any linebacker. He's going to need corner and safety help, and even then, he's that unguardable. He has a very similar build to Calvin Johnson, and he just so happens to play the tight end position. He is going to be a problem. I will agree. He is gonna be a problem, but I gotta hold off putting him over T.J. Hockenson. Not yet. I think by the end of the year he'll be in the discussion of Waller, Kelsey, Kittle. I think he's just gonna be that good. But it's gonna be on T.J. Hockenson. And to go off of what Jared Goff said, he said this guy could be special. He's gonna be like elite. He has all the ability. I think we're all on the same page here. We all see the talent in T.J. The only setback that could happen this year is he is the number one on the team. Kyle Pitts has Calvin Ridley. George Kittle has Kyle Shanahan in the run zone offense.
Sometimes that number one it's not always beneficial. TJ's the focal point of most defenses that are going against.
Yeah,
that's the problem because I know
Travis Kelce has a Tyreek Hill though. He has a Patrick Mahomes to deal with.
Right.
You know, I guess in Las Vegas it's a little different because Waller's in a similar situation, but
right.
He's also a freak athlete. TJ hasn't shown us that consistency yet, so I can't even put him with Waller. And now TJ is the number one. He's going to get that attention. Can he eclipse 1,000, 1,100 yards? If he does, he's elite. And he will show that he's ready to be discussed with the elite. But, you know, I think the only setback that could happen this year is that, unfortunately, he's not surrounded with mega talent. Teams aren't worried about Jared Goff. They're not worried about Tyrell Williams. They're not worried about Quintez Cephas. They're just worried about the run game and T.J. Hockenson.
Yep.
And if we can limit that going into
Number
every
88.
single game against the Detroit Lions, we believe we have a good chance to win.
Can I ask you this?
Yeah.
What are your rookie year predictions for Kyle Pitts? Like, what do you realistically see him in terms of receiving yards? Like, just give me a number.
Okay, Matt Ryan. They have a new offensive coordinator. I'm sorry,
head coach Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith, a new head coach who is very offensive minded.
Loves tight ends.
Matt Ryan. And I'll just start with Matt Ryan. Mm-hmm. Matt Ryan is poised to throw for 4,400 to 4,600 yards this year, probably 30 to 32 touchdowns. And I think Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, and Kyle Pitts are going to be a huge part of that. I think Ridley is easily a 1,400-yard receiver.
I agree.
And I think Kyle Pitts could be the first tight end since Mike Ditka to get over 1,000 yards.
Think about
his
that.
rookie year.
Rookie year, we got a guy who's potentially 1,000-yard a guy.
Yeah,
and
I have him in my top. I know you have him at 4.
But that's my
personally. I'm not willing to put him over TJ.
And I respect that. I'm just saying that this is my point. I believe like TJ started his rookie year off. He had some injuries. He had 300 yards. His second year, he jumps to 700 yards. I think Kyle Pitts can eclipse both those seasons his rookie year. That's why I think by the end of this year, it's going to be a tough conversation. But yes, TJ Hockenson is going to be the focal point of every dang defense we're going against. It's going to be tough. He's like I like what you said because this year is going to show a lot about T.J. Hockenson because last year he had a great year. This year coming in, you're the man. Like the defenses know number one. You got Tyrell Williams, who he's talented, but nonetheless, T.J. Hawkinson's the best receiver if you count him as a receiver on the field. So it's going to be interesting this year. But that's why I asked because. That's why I put him above TJ. I just think his rookie year, he's going to be so much better. And if you think about it, TJ's got 3 years on him, and Kyle Pitts gets 1,000 this year. I just don't see how you can't put him in your top
after
5.
the year, I'm more than happy to have that conversation. But, again, this is a rookie tight end still. He still has a lot to learn. I just think he's in a situation where you're not expecting the Atlanta Falcons to really contend or
also
really
the
contend
Lions,
not only
right.
in their division, but really in the NFC. It's kind of a swan song for Matt Ryan right now. Arthur Smith is going to showcase a lot of dynamic offensive play this year. Atlanta will be a fun team to watch. I think Kyle Pitts is going to be an extreme beneficiary of it. I like that you're willing to put him top 4. I like that.
That's just me being, I like me showing some kahunas. I don't know, but we'll see by the end of the season.
We saw what he did in the preseason.
Yes.
He was unguardable. Limited action, unguardable. What do you do?
No,
what do you do if you're, let's say, a slightly better version of Derek Barnes, right? And you're just a pro-ready linebacker. What do you do to try and stop a 6'6", 4'3" tight end? How do you even do that? Now, he's got to understand running zone routes. He's got to understand when to break off his route, turn around and be ready to catch a ball. That's what makes Travis Kelce and George Kittle so good. He's got a learning curve, but I think he has talented enough to overcome that learning curve year one, and really put a stamp in the NFL year one. I have no doubts.
We're not too far off, so
yeah. I don't hate it. Again, I do think for Hockenson this year though, over 1,100 yards is my expectation. Over 1,100 yards is my expectation, and I don't think I'm going to back off of that. But when we do get back from the break, I would like to discuss a winning formula with you, Jeff, for the Detroit Pistons. What ideally fits in their scenario? What's going to make them a contender in the years to come? We'll do that right after the break. But before, Jeff, could you please tell us about our friends at Coast?
Oh, yes, I can, because since 1919, Coast has pursued one mission, to make the working professional's job safer and life easier. Today, Coast lights are a favorite amongst tradesmen and women, outdoor enthusiasts, do-it-yourselfers, first responders, and more. Visit coastportland.com and use code WSN20 for 20% off your purchase. They stand by their products, back them up with a lifetime warranty. Buying for your whole crew? Sign up with our Coast crew to take advantage on special discounts, early access to new products, and more. Again, that 20% off code is WSN20 right over there.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the Morning Woodward Show. Welcome back. Happy to have you here on a beautiful Friday. Woohoo. All right, so do the Pistons have a winning formula? Do you guys think they have gotten this thing figured out? Like, what kind of players, what kind of winning culture have they had in the past that you're seeing that's being rebuilt right now? People feel it's been a little bit lost in the past because of what Van Gundy did. So what do you think, Jeff? Do the Pistons have a formula that they've got nailed down here?
I think if you're making a cake, they're in the very beginning stages. They're in the formula. They're just creating everything, because it starts when Troy Weaver comes over to the Detroit Pistons and starts really establishing a culture, getting rid of the veterans, keeping all the young guys and drafting a Cade Cunningham, drafting a Sadiq Bey, drafting an Isaiah Stewart, Killian Hayes. Like, that's the culture you're trying to build. And let me just address this Dan Van Gundy, who, when he came to the Pistons in 2014, and all the way to 2018. Number one, we're not going to get to the general manager stuff because it was horrid. But we'll start from a strictly coaching standpoint. He only cleared 40 wins once, and I understand, and I really do understand. You're taking over for Lawrence Frank, and the team was already in shambles when you got here, but he didn't make it much better. And again, the players, I think, were getting tired of, number one, his coaching style, and it's not like he's a bad coach. His coaching style just doesn't work. He had success in Orlando. He was with the Miami Heat. Just coming here, it just didn't have that same effect, and I think it showed on the floor. Obviously, we sniffed the playoffs, get bounced, in the first round. Didn't mean much, but we can really start to talk about all the mistakes that Van Gundy's kind of set us back with, and I think it starts, number one, hate to bring it up, but selecting a Stanley Johnson, I think, over a Devin Booker, or goes to trading for Blake, Tobias Harris, trading him away to save your job, giving away our pick that year that would have been a possible Michael Porter Jr. So it's just stuff like that. You're setting your franchise up. You're trying to set your franchise up for the future, and doing moves like that sets you back. And we could get to the Luke Kennard over, Damian Mitchell. It's just stuff like that matters. You know what I mean? Like, that will really set back your franchise and make mistakes. So I think Troy Weaver, what he's doing now is great. I think now we're moving in the right direction. This draft, we selected 3 great human beings, and I think it's just only going to get better from here. And it's really about creating a culture that free agents want to come to. And, obviously before the last 10 years, Detroit has been people don't want. It's not a very attractive destination. So that's what Troy Weaver's trying to turn around, and you could do it through the draft. You can find all these talented players and get guys through free agency who want to come join them. But yeah, I think it's more than a business perspective with Stan Van Gundy. It was coaching, it was everything. But yeah, he set us back. But no doubt, Troy Weaver in the next couple of years will get this team right back on track where they need to be.
Well, he's already gotten them back on track. We've seen it with Brad Holmes. He's kind of swept away everything that was any way, shape, or form related to the Quinn Tricia era. So he's gotten rid of that. Troy Weaver's essentially done the same thing from the Stan Van Gundy era. What is a winning formula for Detroit Pistons basketball? Well, it's team basketball. And they kind of showcased their hand the moment they drafted Cade. When they drafted Cade Cunningham, they wanted an unselfish potential superstar. And that's what they're getting. They're getting somebody that is a willing passer, a willing scorer, a willing leader. And those are the intangibles and the boxes you want to check when you're trying to build a winning basketball team. And it fits Dwayne Casey's model so well. You have like a Kyle Lowry, a Pascal Siakam growing and developing throughout his time there. And then, of course, he flourished under Nick Nurse. You need players that are willing to take direction, or as we call them, soldiers. I need my soldiers to trust and invest in me so that they understand that when I'm telling them to do these things, they're not questioning me, they're doing it. And it's for the benefit of not only myself, the team, but them as individuals. And that's where I think this team, year one, with this whole Cade Cunningham era, is going to go through growing pains. They're going to develop how to play winning basketball. Who's going to dominate the ball late into the game? Is Killian Hayes going to come out of the gate with the ball and Jeremy Grant, and then Cade's going to slowly start to take over third, fourth quarter? You need about 40 games of sampling before you even have a good idea. We saw this with LaMelo Ball really year one. Somebody who you saw the talent, yet they were playing him from the bench. And then they finally got him on the court with Terry Rozier, and they just became a very, very tough team to play against. And he was essentially almost putting up a triple-double every night. Troy Weaver's only, I want to say, hurdle that he will approach in the next 2 seasons is he going to be able to take Jeremy Grant, potentially a Killian Hayes, and reshape that into another star player? Because neither are stars yet. I told you how many times that Jeremy Grant is a number 3 on a good basketball team, on a contending team. So he's not going to be your leader. You need probably 2-3 years for Cade to develop into that really alpha 1, like a Luka, like a Trey, like a John Morant. They're kind of going through their growing pains. You're going to see the same ideally with Cade. This is probably the biggest hurdle for the team in the future, is what happens with Killian Hayes and Jeremy Grant. I believe they shop Jeremy Grant this season. Whether or not they do execute a trade for it is beyond me, but I think they're going to be taking calls for Jeremy Grant come the trade deadline, and they're just going to throw their young team out there and say, what can you give us? Because we still don't have a complete team. That team is far from complete. You look at Sadiq Bey, he's far from a polished scorer. Killian Hayes, far from a polished point guard. He's heading into year 2. Cade's a rookie. These guys need minutes. I don't think Jeremy Grant, long-term, is a fit on the roster. Maybe this year trading him is too early. And then you shop him next trade deadline come the 2022 season. Okay. I'm okay with that. But I think that is going to define Troy Weaver's time here in Detroit. What is he going to be able to turn Killian Hayes and Jeremy Grant into? If he's able to solve that equation and Cade Cunningham is what you expect him to be, Detroit will have a contender for the next 7 to 10 years.
You just got to have some caution because, like, you remember the Minnesota Timberwolves a couple of years ago when they had, Andrew Wiggins, Zach LaVine, and Karl Anthony Towns, and I think they were ready to make that jump in their minds. So trading a Zach LaVine away for a Jimmy Butler, bringing in a veteran star over your current guy you just didn't see making that jump, and they ended up getting rid of him, and now Zach LaVine was with the Bulls. So you want to make sure this young core grows together. But like Adam said, if nothing's producing in terms of the winning category, and Killian doesn't look necessarily good, and Jeremy Grant's getting his 19 a game. Like, of course, you entertain offers. Every guy has a price. So I agree from that standpoint. I think Troy Weaver has shown us his ability to make trades. He's very active on that market. And not only that, like his talent evaluation is so much more better than most of these GMs. So I'm excited to see, like, if he makes a trade for somebody, there's something deeper that he knows that we don't. So give Troy Weaver. He's doing a great job. I'd like the Brad Holmes comparison. It's coming in, flushing out all the guys you don't need, and then just starting a new culture with your guys. It's similar to Brad Holmes, and they're doing the same thing. So have faith in Troy Weaver, and this season's going to be interesting.
Again, I said this about Brad Holmes, right? The same thing. He's done, I would say, a good job so far. Just, I don't know what his draft class is going to shape out to be his first one, but so far, it's been good under Brad Holmes. I can't complain too much. Okay, Troy Weaver, I can't complain at all. He's done a good job. But what does Troy need to figure out that Brad also needs to figure out? Brad Holmes needs to figure out the head coach and the quarterback. He gets those two things right, he's going to be very successful in Detroit. I have no doubts about his talent evaluation ability. You need to get the head coach and quarterback right in the NFL. Well, how does that affect Troy Weaver? Troy Weaver's got to surround Cade with the number 2. I don't think Jeremy Grant is it, and I don't think Killian Hayes will be it. Do I think Sadiq Bey can play like Klay Thompson? Sure, just not to that elite level, or at least I haven't seen it yet. He's still very raw. So could he develop into a two-way player and an off-ball shooter like a Klay Thompson? That'd be ideal. That would be your best-case scenario. But if he's not that, you still need a number 2 to compete in the NBA. And you don't have it on the roster right now, and nor do I believe Killian Hayes will ever be a number 2. I hope so. I just don't see it yet. And these first 40, 50 games this year are really going to tell us a lot about Killian Hayes. So if, again, Troy Weaver can't turn Jeremy Grant and Killian Hayes into a number 2 for Cade over the years, this could be a problem. And I think that could be probably the downfall of his time here in Detroit. He's clearly done a great job with talent evaluation and drafting. But you need a number 2. Giannis needed Middleton. Kobe needed Paul Gasol. Shaq needed Kobe. MJ needed Pippen. LeBron needed Kyrie. LeBron needed Wade. Like Wade needed LeBron. This is how it works. Like, the Mavericks are the one-off. The Pistons are the one-off. And if you want to go for the one-off, cool. The one-offs aren't dynasties, though. They aren't dynasties. They aren't. The Bad Boy Pistons are dynasties because they had Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer, Isaiah Thomas. That is a very strong 1, 2, and 3. Pistons don't have that right now. So if they want to contend in the years to come, that's where they got to be. That's where they got to be.
I agree. Hopefully it's in free agency. Maybe they'll hit home somewhere. But yeah, you got to find a number 2 for Cade. You can't do it all by himself. You can't have Cade and then a bunch of guys scoring 10 to 15 points a game. You need 2 guys at 20 points. That's how you have success in this league.
All right, well, coming up next, we're going to talk about the 49ers and their QB situation. But before that, I can tell you about how you can actually win front row tickets to the 49ers game versus the Lions. So thanks to Wicked Awesome Wishes and the Morning Woodward Show, we have front row tickets to the Lions versus 49ers on September 12th. So coming up here, enter online at wickedawesomewishes.com and tell us who you are nominating. You have till Thursday of next week, obviously, to give great seats to someone who is a big Lions fan and deserves a great day. So once again, go to wickedawesomewishes.com and nominate whoever you think is so deserving of those tickets. And now, Adam, we're talking football. We're going to talk more football. Tell us about Friday nights.
Yeah, I mean, well, today is the big night. Well, Alex Westfall, Sam, Mikey, Jeff, we're all going to be down there. It's going to be a blast. Let me tell you, Southfield, A&T at Birmingham Groves. It's going to be a good game tonight. I'm really excited to watch it. We'll be streaming it live from 9 to 11 p.m. tonight. Get ready. It's going to be a blast. Where? It'll be at Birmingham Groves. It'll be live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We will catch you guys after the break.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching The Morning Wood on the Woodward Sports Network. So happy to have you here on a beautiful Friday. The weekend is right around the corner. We just got to get through today, right, people? All right. So we could see, thank you, Fish, we could see a potential 2-quarterback system this season for the 49ers. Some people think it's an okay idea. Some people are super against it. So let's weigh the pros and cons here. Jeff, what do you think?
I'm not going to sit here and argue what's a bad idea for Kyle Shanahan, but I will say this. Have caution, because this idea worked, with the New Orleans Saints, of really not knowing who their starter was. He had two guys that are similar in ability. One could do a lot on his feet. One had the better arm. It made sense to use these two on the field. But now we're going to a 49ers team who you have a Trey Lance, and me and Adam have set up here and said we don't believe that he's ready to play at least towards the end of year one, possibly, if not start of year two. So if you're telling me he's going to play week one and already get plays out there, it just doesn't make sense. Why put him out there for whatever amount of plays? Let Jimmy start the season. You have a guy in Jimmy Garoppolo whose psyche's already fragile. This guy has not able to stay healthy, and I think mentally he's not healthy because he gets in his own head so much that they're yanking him from the games, and to put him out there and then yank him, put in a Trey Lance to run option play, it just doesn't make sense. Leave Jimmy out there, and if he floods out and fire and just turns into a big old mess, then you put in Trey Lance. You let him get in there. You don't have an option. But why risk putting in a Trey Lance to make a mistake, to affect his psyche? Why even do that? Let Jimmy go out there and keep it. I think this is more simple than it really has to be. Just put Jimmy out there and don't overthink it. If you have a goal line play and you want Trey to run it, whatever the case may be.
Well,
but
that's, I think, what they're talking about here.
But then why? What's the point of that? Getting him even
well,
reps.
Well, you saw him in the preseason against the Raiders when Jimmy Garoppolo had led a long drive, and then Trey Lance showed up at the goal line, run option, he took it in, untouched, touchdown. Those are free touchdowns.
I know, but
and you have to make
free.
teams game plan for it. It's not just Trey Lance is playing. No, you want teams to be thrown off. That is your job going into every game. How am I going to exploit the opposing team? Well, when you have Trey Lance in the game,
you don't put your rookie out there, though.
You don't want to throw a rookie out there for a long drive, but you want to throw the rookie out there.
What's the point, though, for a play?
One, you're getting him reps.
What if you get him a read option and he gets hit hard on the lower end of his body, hurts his knee? Why just leave him out?
You can't use that.
Got one play.
If he's gonna look throughout the season, do I believe Jimmy Garoppolo should be the starter? The best case scenario for this team is that Jimmy Garoppolo is the starter for the rest of the year, because you want to give Trey Lance time to develop.
Yeah, let him
But if
process.
you can run him in at the goal line and have increased, let's say, your red zone touchdown percentage by 8%, that is a significant amount more touchdowns and points that you get throughout the season compared to what you would have had with Jimmy Garoppolo. Now they have to account for Trey Sermon, Raheem Mostert, Trey Lance, and Jimmy Garoppolo, not just the running backs and the offensive line and the quarterback. It's Brandon Ayuk now. You have options. I actually like it. I don't think it's horrible. Do I think it's horrible if in quarter two they're bringing out Trey Lance to go out for a drive? Yes, I think that's irresponsible. I don't think Kyle Shanahan is going to do it. I'm telling you right now, Kyle Shanahan is sitting in his office and he is praying, absolutely praying, that Jimmy Garoppolo comes out against Detroit and dominates the football game. Because he wants nothing more than to sit Trey Lance, and by week 12, week 13, if he sees it enough, he's going to send out Trey Lance, and that could be a very dangerous football team.
Let me put a scenario in your head. So you're saying they're only going to use him for his feet, right? He's not going to throw the ball. If he throws this, let's say he throws a pass. He gets in on one play, throws an interception. How does that affect his psyche? Because he's already in limited plays. He's in very a small number of plays. He gets out there on a goal line play, and Kyle Shanahan says, all right, we're not going to run it, do whatever with it. and he ends up throwing the ball and it's an interception. Like, why even put that on your rookie quarterback? Like, Patrick Mahomes sat for the first 2 years. These guys, let them sit, build confidence, process the game. Like, what's the point of putting them out for a play or
Alex
two?
Smith in San Francisco, we all remember Jim Harbaugh pulled the plug midseason, brought in Colin Kaepernick. That was a Super Bowl appearance and I believe 3 NFC Championship appearances.
Okay.
I'm not saying Trey Lance year 1 should be playing. Mahomes sat a full season.
Right.
I think Trey Lance should sit a full season. But if he progresses from week 1 to week 10, Trey Lance.
But how many plays is he in?
Wait,
what do we
forget the 2 quarterback system for now.
Okay.
If he just progresses in practice and he shows enough in week 1 to 10, and the Niners are sitting, let's say, at 6-4, 7-3, but probably 6-4 or 5-5. And Kyle Shanahan believes that Trey Lance is a better option.
Put him in.
You put him in.
I just don't believe in 2 quarterbacks.
I don't. Their 2 quarterback system isn't like what we typically understand with how college does it, where you have one guy in one drive, the guy the next, whoever's got the hot hand. That's not what Kyle Shanahan is doing. He needs to protect his number 3 overall pick. He's going to send Jimmy out there to get slaughtered or to succeed. It's one or the other. Come week 10, 11, 12, I think his mind will change. And he'll probably move to Trey Lance, and the team will be much more dynamic with him. We'll have to wait and see, but I don't hate the red zone package. I don't mind giving him a red zone package. That's similar to what the Eagles did last year with Jalen Hurts, and then come the end of the year, he took over the job. So I'm not too opposed to it, as long as they're not sending him out there for full drives.
But they also put Jalen out there almost ill-advised. Like, he had a rough stretch. He had one good game against the Saints, but he had a rough stretch towards the end of that season. Like, he almost got and of course, Philadelphia is a bad football team. He had no offensive line. I get all that. But let's just bring it back to Trey Lance. My point is, it's not do I think he'll be starting. I truly believe if Jimmy just craps the bed, the beginning of the season, in the first 5 games or 10 games, they're 5-5. I could see a Trey Lance getting in there. I'm not saying that at all. My point still stands. I just don't see the point of a 2 quarterback drive. I guess, you could argue, I like what the Saints did with the Taysom Hill, with the Jameis Winston. Taysom Hill could use his legs. But when Taysom Hill came out there, you knew what he was out there for. I mean, you knew it. He had, the dude's going to run the ball. And if not that, you're going to have a chance to intercept the ball. So, I don't know. The point still stands. I think Jimmy G should just start the season and let him play out. I don't think you should be benching him for plays, throwing into Trey Lance. And it's just, I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough about NFL football, but that's my opinion. If I'm head coach, I'll pass on that. So that's my opinion on that.
All right, fair enough. I still think the 2 quarterback system isn't as bad as maybe we may feel it is. I think there's still room for Trey Lance to grow. I think there are opportunities throughout the season that he can get. I think we both agree Jimmy G should be the starter, though, for at least the first half of the season. And then you reevaluate later into it. Kennedy, you're looking at me like something just happened. What happened?
No, nothing happened. I was just listening to you. Give me your reasons. So.
All right, well, look, I think week 1, Jimmy Garoppolo should be more than enough to beat the Detroit Lions. And then we'll see. Again, they're in a very difficult division. I think Kyle Shanahan believes that this team are potential contenders. I think they're Super Bowl contenders if they land the quarterback situation right, whether it's Jimmy or Trey Lance. That's how good their defense will be if healthy, and that's how dynamic their offense will be if healthy. If Kittle's there, if Mozart is there, Ayuk, Jimmy G, if he's hitting on all cylinders, that offense is a problem. I don't think you want to throw Trey Lance out there yet. I think midway into the season is probably the most ideal situation for the San Francisco 49ers. Fish, how do you feel about a 2 quarterback system? Is that something you would run if you were in charge of San Francisco?
No, I'd probably choose one of the quarterbacks
and just let him play.
Yeah, I'd pick one, and then if one doesn't work, I'd go to the second one. And I keep figuring out if something works. But obviously, if Mike Shanahan feels that the 2 quarterback system works, then He's the coach. He's allowed to make that call.
You still, I mean, I get the point though, Fish. Like if you have a quarterback, like let's say you're my quarterback, Fish, and you can't run the ball. All right, and I'm back up, and I have better. I'm more athletic than you, and I still have an arm, somewhat of an arm. I could see using both of us in different ways. Like me on goal line on plays, I can get in the end zone easily, obviously. But I agree with you, Fish. Like I'm not even saying like it makes more sense to start one quarterback. It's just my opinion in terms of protecting your third overall pick and letting him still learn and develop. Give him a year of just confidence, building his confidence. If he goes out there and throws a pick or fumbles the ball or whatever, you don't want that affecting his psyche. I mean, the kid's only 21, so if I'm 21 years old and if I threw a pick in an NFL game, my confidence is shot. It's absolutely shot, but we still agree nonetheless. So,
all right, fair enough. Kennedy?
All right, well, when we come back, we are going to make our all-time squad of MSU basketball players. Shout out to March Madness for coming up with this graphic. But before we go, Jeff, will you tell us about Papa Romano's?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you about the generic spot, if my man Alex can get that up on the board. I feel bad. I don't tell him any of the graphics. So you know what? Papa Romano's has handcraft pizzas that have made them a Detroit favorite for over 50 years, 5-0. House-made dough, hand-cut veggies, and fresh cheese make a difference. The same quality goes into all their pizzas, salads, subs, and pitas. Order now at paparomanos.com.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Wood on the Woodward Sports Network. So happy to have you here. It is Friday, so that is something to celebrate, regardless of what other people say. So now we are going to name our starting five with this DIY, build your own MSU team. What are you going with, Jeff? My basketball guy.
Listen, I'll start with point guard, obviously, Magic Johnson. I don't think you should think too much about this. One of the greatest point guards of all time, if not the best. So, yeah, I'm going Magic Johnson for my starting point guard. Now, the two guard, this is tough because I love Jason Richardson. I think he's great. But I'm not going favoritism. I'm going strictly basketball. So I'm going Steve Smith because Mr. Steve Smith was a beast at MSU his junior and senior year. He put up over 20 points. The guy got buckets. And for the 3 spot, I'm going our Pistons main guy, Greg Kelser, because I think Greg Kelser, at only 6'7", that man dominated in the paint. He scored above 20. I think his... he scored 20 his sophomore year and averaged around 15 to 18. So the guy is consistent. He can get rebounds. He's a beast. I love Greg Kelser, and I think that's just simply because I like the man also. So he's a good basketball player. He's my 3 spot. 4 spot, I'm going Draymond Green because he was a fantastic, underrated defender at MSU. He could guard all 5 positions. He still can. And I think he would just be a great fit on any team because he helps it out in every single area. And number 5, for the center position, I'm going Jaren Jackson because as a freshman, this man was he didn't play the entire season, but he did have a presence on the defensive end of the ball. I mean, he averaged 3 blocks. He only played 1 season for Michigan State, but if he continued to play, he would have only gotten better. So that's my 5. I got Magic Johnson, Steve Smith, Greg Kelser, Draymond Green, and Jaren Jackson. So those are my 5, and that's who I personally chose. Now I want to hear my guy Adams.
All right, so you went Greg Kelser at small forward. You went Draymond at power?
Yes.
Okay, so I only disagree with one position. Although I did want to consider Zach Randolph over Draymond because I think Draymond is really annoying and a crybaby. But regardless, obviously Magic at 1, Steve Smith at 2. Jason Richardson was nice. He's not Steve Smith nice.
No,
So,
you can't.
Number 3, Greg Kelser. Miles Bridges was a close 2, but I did have to agree on Kelser. I think Draymond Green, I would probably take him. He's a good facilitator, good defensive player. I would like that on my team. And the center is where you really got it wrong. I don't think you were alive for Kevin Willis. Kevin Willis was a 21-18 NBA basketball player during his prime years. He probably, I want to say over a 7-year stretch, averaged anywhere probably 18.5 points and 12, 13 rebounds in the NBA. He was 7 feet, dominant. I'm taking Kevin Willis at center. For me, the most complete center of the 5. I think the list is kind of unfair. I think they should have added like a pricing structure. Like you had $15 to do it, 5, 4, 3,
Right.
2, and then 1. Because the fact that I can get Steve Smith and Magic Johnson as my backcourt is just unfair. I don't see how... there's nothing challenging about this. I was hoping to be a little more challenging, but yeah, we agree on Kelser, we agree on Magic and Steve Smith, we agree on Draymond, although like I could make the argument for Zach Randolph, and for me, Kevin Willis. Kevin Willis is where I'm going to have to go away from you. I don't think Jaren Jackson is all that. I don't think he was all that at Michigan State. I don't think he was all that currently in Memphis.
And my argument would be, listen, and I'm not basing this off their pro careers. Obviously, they've all had pretty good pro careers. I think collegiately, and I love Kevin Willis. I obviously didn't watch him. He played in the 80s. But when I looked up his collegiate stats, that's really what I based it off of. In 3 years, he averaged like 11, 12 points as a career average. And that's not bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying simply what Jaren Jackson was able to do 1 year, freshman year, averaged 3 blocks and 10 points. He averaged just around what Kevin Willis averaged as a career at MSU. But Kevin Willis, nonetheless, he's a good pro. But that was my opinion. I think Jaren Jackson, I don't know. It's who I watch. It's all personal opinion. So, but Kevin Willis, you can't be angry with that. You know, he's 7 foot. He's a beast. So.
All right, if you only had to choose 3 players from the... not 3. It's still easy at that point. God. This is too easy, Kennedy.
Well, 3.
This is too easy.
My bad.
It's too easy. I don't like it. It was just too easy.
Okay, well, complain to the NCAA March Madness. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, like build your starting 5, but why couldn't it be like, strategic? Like you only had X amount you could get. You could only get one of the starting 5 point guards, or like I don't know. I didn't enjoy this as much as I thought I would. I'll be honest.
Well,
I think it's too easy. And some idiot on Twitter did have Cassius Winston.
Oh God.
Over Magic Johnson.
And I love Cassius Winston.
He had
but no.
Cassius, Jason Richardson, Denzel Valentine, Zach Randolph, and Jaren Jackson Jr. That is somebody that was probably born in 2004.
All right, you want to hear? Braylon tweeted back at it. Do you want to hear what Braylon's was? Magic, Steve Smith, Greg Kessler, Zebo, and Kevin Willis is what Braylon said.
Yeah. Okay. So Braylon was basically was with me on this. I can't. You can't underrate Zach Randolph. Zach Randolph was a beast. I know it's easy to say Jeremy Grant, but Zach Randolph was such a problem in the NBA and in college. Draymond was nice in college, but he did go in the second round.
Zach did play 1 year.
I might have. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Draymond, knowing that what I know now. But
versatilities, man. The guy's versatile.
Yeah, but Zach Randolph was pretty versatile.
Dude, Zach Randolph is a old school on the block, post you up and get physical with you. Draymond is like versatile. He can guard all 5. Zach cannot guard all 5 positions. He's a 4 and a 5.
I know, but
I love Zebo though. I mean, the guy is a beast.
All right. I mean, we'll move on from this. We got to hit on the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
And their upcoming game against the 49ers. But before we get into kind of what the game is going to look like, really, Jeff, what I'm looking for out of you is to tell me your keys to the game for the team heading into next Sunday. We'll get it started. I'll just name my key to the game. They got to control the clock.
100%.
They got to limit the amount of time San Francisco has on the ball. I don't think they'll be able to compete if they fall down early. I think they got to control the clock. They got to not give up quick 3 and outs. Well, they need to not get off the field 3 and out quickly and punt it away. That's kind of what I'm expecting from Detroit week 1 if they are to even have a chance. Jeff?
I agree with that. With that respect, this is what they need to do. Number one, especially on the offensive end, is control the clock's a good one. You saw the 18-play drive against the Bills, whatever the case may be. We need more of those with a touchdown at the end. You gotta control the clock against this team, because if San Francisco gets the ball, you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna pound the ball, and they're gonna milk the clock, and then they're gonna score ultimately. It's just how it is. So I agree with what you said. Control the clock. Number one, you want to, on the defensive side of the ball, you got to find, I know it's easier said than done, but you got to find a way to stop the run or at least slow it down, because you want Jimmy G to win the game with his arm. That's your goal. You want Jimmy G to ultimately air it out. And I think this secondary, we got a young secondary who, guys like Will Harris, Amani Awarie, the coaching staff loves. They said they had great camps. So those guys need to step up with this secondary and I think make some plays. But it comes down to, number one, how much pressure can you get on Jimmy G with this pass rush? And number two, control the clock. Like, that is important. I was going to say that before you said it because it makes perfect sense. We know San Francisco is a better team on paper. So what do you do against better teams? You don't let them get the ball. You don't let them make plays. If Jimmy G gets on the field, we make fun of Jimmy G because of his psyche, but nonetheless, the 49ers could have put up 30 points this game. Like, this is a clear thing. So, yeah, it starts with controlling the clock, and defensively, put some pressure on Jimmy G. Try to stop the run and make him beat you through the air, because that is your best bet as a football team.
Very good. Well, let's quickly segue to the game tonight. Michigan State, Northwestern.
Yep.
Jeff, give me your pick. Give me your prediction. Okay. Of course, yes. But give me your understanding of what's going to happen. Obviously, Michigan State upset Northwestern last year, so Northwestern does have a chip on their shoulder. They are at home. Michigan State is a road underdog, but they're only a 3.5-point underdog. It's kind of what Vegas is telling me here is that it's an even game. I don't believe it is. But what are your thoughts on this game?
I think, number one, this is a great ideal measuring stick for MSU. I think what we talked to our guys Justin earlier about the outlook of this team, especially this year. I think going into Northwestern, a tough team, a gritty team who I think personally it's a toss up. I think I got MSU winning. I think they truly can pull off a W. I just don't know. There's too many things that you got a Pat Fitzgerald, and there's too many things you can't control. Like, they're going to Northwestern, they're going away, and one of the underdog on the road, and realistically, I think MSU can pull it out. But again, we don't even know the starting quarterback, and we don't know if it's Anthony Russo, like Justin advocates for, but we don't know how this is going to turn out. But if I just had to take a pick blindly, I'm going with MSU. I think they can pull off. It's going to be a close win. I can see a 2017, 24-17, whatever the case may be. It's going to be a close, gritty game. Maybe even 17-10 or something like that. But yeah, I got MSU pulling out a victory, even on the road.
Well, I don't think. I think this line is pretty off. Actually, I think you got to take the points with Northwestern 3.5. Although I think Michigan State, are in year 2 now of Mel Tucker, it's going to be a tough game to watch. You saw what Minnesota did coming out against Ohio State. Northwestern isn't going to be just figuring it out on the field with their athletes. Northwestern will be prepared. I think Northwestern wins this game by more than a touchdown. And I think MSU plays it close, but Northwestern just will have too much for them. Their defense is overwhelming. They're returning a ton of starters from last year. I don't see how Michigan State can be a 3.5-point dog away. You're essentially telling me that they're favorites, but you're only putting them down 3 points, or you're basically making it even because they're away from home. I don't like it. I think Northwestern pulls it off. I think Northwestern pulls it off probably 27-20, maybe even a 27-17 game. I don't know where the points are going to come from week 1 from Michigan State. If Russo is the starter, how is he going to look in his first game in an MSU uniform? I don't know these things. It's very difficult for me to kind of put my eye on exactly what Michigan State is going to be this year. Justin Spiro, who was on earlier, did mention, a 5-6 win team. I don't see how they come out of the gate beating a Northwestern. I think it's going to be difficult. They had signature wins last year. Do I think they're probably going to be on upset alert when they play? the teams they play will be on upset alert. An Ohio State, a Minnesota, an Iowa, Michigan, sure, but I don't know where all these wins are going to come from this year. I still think Mel Tucker needs another 2 classes before we can really give him an adequate, like, hey, here's your grade for how you've done. So I'm going to take Northwestern today to win 27-17. I think it's going to be a tight, sloppy game. I don't think either offense is going to be dynamic. I think the defenses are probably going to play pretty well, and I think Northwestern will come out on top. I don't know how Michigan State is only 3.5-point underdogs. I think they should be somewhere around 6.5. But that's that. We got to head to break. But before we head to break, I got to tell you about our good friends at Levels. Levels Dispensary in Centerline is now open. Download their app today and start collecting points so you can level up. Search Enjoy Levels in the Apple and Google Play stores. Make sure when you stop by Levels, you do mention that Woodward Sports sent you. We'll see you right after the break.
Opa! Introducing Papa Romano's new Greek pizza, a tasty blend of bold Greek flavors and Mediterranean toppings, including feta cheese and Greek dressing. Get a large Greek pizza for a limited time for $16.99. Order now at paparomanos.com.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
Welcome back, everybody. You're tuning into the Morning Wood on the Woodward Sports Network. All right, this is going to be my absolute favorite segment of the day, and that's because I have labeled it Tebow time. And I know the guys are super excited, right, guys? We're pumped.
So excited.
I mean, we had the discussion about Tim Tebow. Who would you rather listen to for 8 hours, Stephen A. or Tim Tebow? So I'll just let Kennedy take it away from here. Kill me.
So basically, if someone out there is watching me, or I manifested this and spoke it into existence, if you will. So Tebow and Stephen A. will now be doing a debate together. So now we don't have to pick between the two. We get them both at once.
I'd rather get acupuncture in my eye sockets than have to sit down and watch that show for 2 hours with those two on it.
Come on.
I would cut my hair off. I would honestly cut my hair off. If you told me I had to watch Tim Tebow and Stephen A. Smith debate, you can trim it all off. I can't watch that. I'm glad it's one day a week. Because Tim Tebow, as great as he is, he talks like this all day. I can't listen to this man. I love Tebow so much. I think he has a football opinion when he comes on and does segments, but if he's doing a debate show with Stephen A. Smith, just keep it to one day. And if it doesn't work, get him out. I won't have a problem with it.
Not if it doesn't work. It won't work. I can't believe this is a thing. Kill me. I don't want to listen to this. I don't want to watch. I don't want to acknowledge it. Kennedy, get me away from this stuff. Get me away.
You can't get away from Tim Tebow. The Lord will not let this man fail. He's just going to keep getting brought up, somehow. It doesn't matter how. He's going to be in our faces somehow. He's never gone away. And
I don't like how that sounds. I don't want this man anywhere near me. I love Tim Tebow. Listen, I respect him, but I'm just not a fan. I mean, that's easy to say. I mean, I don't have to hate the man. I'm just not a fan of him. I'm just not a fan of his work in broadcasting. I think he has an opinion, but
God, you want to talk about a horrible lineup? It's going to be Stephen A. Smith, Paul Feinbaum, and Tim Tebow on Fridays.
Lord.
Oh my God.
Forgot about Michael Irving.
Michael Irvin?
Yeah,
what about
he's going to be on Stephen A. He's going to be on Stephen A. one of the days.
Yeah,
it's going to be him and Michael Irvin.
I don't know why they did this. I think it's bad business, but
it probably is. But that first day, I'm going to tune in for sure because I have to see what a circus it is. And I feel like that's why people...
Tim Tebow's being called out to box. What are we doing in this country right now?
Yeah, that was...
Really?
That was part 2 of Tebow time. Jake Paul has called out Tim Tebow and said, you should get into boxing. Listen.
I hate everything about this. I don't like it. Hey, Tim Tebow, I think it's time for you to get into boxing. Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, this is...
Oh my... I hate this stuff. I absolutely hate it. Do I think Jake Paul is good for boxing? Yeah, because it's dead. And it's no longer the sport you grew up on. So get over it. It's never coming back. But he's still keeping it relevant with these prize celebrity bouts. Cool. I could care less. Tim Tebow to box. Tim Tebow.
This is embarrassing.
Come on. He could play quarterback. He could play running back. He could play tight end coach. Now he can go to the Mets and play baseball professionally. Yes, he can. Oh, no. He can box and he can be an on-air talent with Stephen A. Smith. God, what are we doing?
The man can't even block for his quarterback, and now you expect him to block punches. It's not going to happen. I am a fan. I am the biggest advocate for combat sports. I love combat sports. I've talked to all the time about it. But I will not let Tim Tebow box. He can't. It ain't going to happen. And Jake Paul, I get it. It's a marketing thing. You're calling him out, but this is obviously a troll. If Tim Tebow got in that ring, he would. I don't even want to talk about that. It's not happening. It's not happening. So. To answer that question, cancel that if Jake Paul boxes Tim Tebow. And then number 2, if Tebow's on First Take, so be it. It's First Take. They can do whatever stupid decision they want to do. Keep him away from Woodward Sports, and that's all we care about over here.
Well, this is my thing. Why would you call out Tim Tebow? Out of all people, there's so many people you can pick on. Why is Jake Paul choosing Tim Tebow?
He's got a lot of following.
I don't think he's picking on him. He's trying to make money.
Yeah.
This is all about money. This has nothing to do with Tim Tebow or Jake Paul. This is about money. Tim Tebow has people that follow him around and adore him like you, and that is what's one of the key problems with this country is we have people that walk around and clamor to people that don't deserve it or shouldn't. It doesn't even make sense to even do it in the first place, but you do it anyways. You see it with the Paul brothers. You see it with Tim Tebow's. You see it with these TikTokers. It is the weirdest thing. I will never understand it. I don't want to. But Stephen A. and Tim Tebow, what kind of combination is that?
It's
like
ugly.
It's not fair.
What's the opposite of like a dream team? Like like the opposite, like a team you don't want together.
That is definitely it. I don't want to see Tim Tebow and Stephen A. Smith.
Like,
really?
That is awful.
We have the guy that just yells big words and is just very loud on screen. And then we have Tim Tebow, who just mentions Jesus every 7 or 8 words. Like, what are we getting? I can't help.
It is going to be the weirdest combination of people ever. First Take, I don't know. But if you had to choose someone to win in a boxing match, are you taking Jake Paul?
You don't even have to finish.
Slaughter Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, if he wanted to go to God tomorrow, all he has to do is book a fight with Jake Paul.
It doesn't matter.
Jake Paul would kill him.
It's because boxing's too much of a...
Jake Paul would kill him.
He trains too hard. Tebow's on
He's
your
a
training.
trained boxer.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously Tebow would get trained.
He would get trained.
Step in there.
Let's say Tyron Woodley got training and got beat.
Yeah. He's still behind in Jake's training. Like, he could start right now. He's 2 years behind, 3 years behind.
A professional fighter got beat by a YouTuber.
That's so ugly, dude.
Tim Tebow would die in the ring if he were to fight Jake Paul. He would die. I would. If they booked that fight,
he would be.
I'm gonna go to Chase Bank. I'm gonna apply for a $200,000 loan. I'm gonna take out the money. I'm gonna refinance my house. Take that money too, and I'm gonna go to the casino, and I'm gonna put probably $500,000 on Jake Paul to kill, not to knock out, to kill Tim Tebow round 1. I guarantee it. Round 1, knockout, dead. We have a memorial for Tim Tebow the next day. What a great man he was. Great quarterback at Florida. Sucked in the NFL. Couldn't throw a lick. Made one good slant route to throw to Demarius Thomas, and we all revere him. He's better than Stafford because he won a playoff game. All this bull crap. God. You know what? But Jake Paul, please fight Tim Tebow. Do us all a favor. Get rid of him, please. Get rid of him. Sorry, Kennedy.
Don't try and get him taken out now.
And the reason why he's being called out is because of his following. Tim Tebow is a huge following in the NFL world, and sports world, college football world. I think if he fought Jake Paul, Jake Paul's not stupid. He understands the business aspect of this. Right. It's gonna draw eyes not only from combat sports fans, but guys who don't even know about boxing coming over to watch boxing. So, fight Tim Tebow. I don't care. I'm still tuning in because I want to see a meme happen. But
I don't think Tebow would fight someone though. I feel like he would be like the Bible says no or something, and I don't think he would do it.
And I don't think he's self-aware. I think he knows why do that and risk getting put to sleep when I've never boxed in my entire life. Maybe he has a little bit, but I know for a fact he doesn't train.
I bet you Tebow hasn't hit anything.
Because exercising and boxing, most of these athletes do, I'm exercising. Jake's training in Puerto Rico 24/7, all every single day of the year. So there's a difference. There's levels to this. A wise man once said, "There's levels to this," and that's why.
A lot of people's beef with Jake Paul and his form of boxing is they're saying like he's never called out like a real boxer.
Well, yeah, he would lose.
So
what's the point?
Let me say this though. Also,
how
like,
is he going to
in
make
boxing,
money if he loses?
Let me put it like this: Canelo. Everyone knows who Canelo is. One of the greatest boxers. His 10th fight, he was 10-0. He fought a guy who was 0-10. So guys who build their record, it's not. That's why
Jake
I like.
Paul's not building his record though. He's
Dude,
just
he's 4-0.
finagling and being able to beat people who aren't able to box.
But he
with
is
him.
fighting guys who are MMA fighters, like Canelo. When
MMA and boxing is so different.
Dude,
boxing is a
listen to what I'm saying.
point-based
Listen to what I'm
sport.
saying. So if I was a boxer, let's say, and I'm 3-0, all right, and I wanted to fight. And Adam over here was a world champion in the UFC, and Fish was 0-10. If I fought you, there's more respect. Like it doesn't matter if there's two different sports. If Fish is 0-10, you're better than him in boxing. Like there's no way. But I fought a boxer, he's 0-10. Like Jake Paul, I don't have a problem with him fighting these guys. Like he beat a Tyron Woodley. Now I want to see him fight a boxer now though.
Nobody wants to see Jake Paul fight a boxer. I'll tell you why, because it's not attractive. Unless he fights a young up-and-coming boxer.
Right.
But no, you want the celebrity bouts. That's what people are paying for, and that's the reality of the situation.
No boxer has the clout.
He's not going to box a boxer. He's not going to fight a Canelo unless it's like $100 million deal. That's the only way he gets in the ring, similar to what McGregor did.
Right.
What
so
are we doing?
until that happens, we just keep taking Jake Paul to win.
Jake Paul's. I don't even care. I don't care. I don't care. If he fights Tim Tebow, I don't care. I'll just bet on it because it's free money. But that's about it. That's about it. Tim Tebow doesn't have a chance. God could fight with Tim Tebow. He's still not going to win. God can't help Tim Tebow in that fight. What are we doing? Tim Tebow to box. Put him on Fridays with Stephen A. Oh, I'm not going anywhere near it. Stay away from me.
Stay away.
Stay away. I'm not interested.
You're not even gonna watch the first episode
Of what?
Just of first.
Stephen A. No.
Yeah.
No.
Come on, just to see like. What
No.
it's gonna
Why?
be
So I
like.
have a headache for the rest of the day?
Take it.
One guy using big words and yelling obnoxiously and saying things that are wrong 90% of the time. The other, he's innocent boy, quiet, nice, charming, I
not
guess.
quiet.
Tim Tebow's not an opinionated
I feel
sports
like
broadcaster. He's more
Stephen
of an
A. might
analyst.
make him cry. I'm just nervous.
Tebow's not an opinionated.
I want to see
sports
Tebow
analyst.
like frustrated, like genuinely frustrated, like when
Yeah.
Stephen
Not
A's
gonna
yelling
happen.
at him and screaming at him.
It's not gonna happen.
He's gonna like turn around and pray and just be like, Lord, give me
Yeah,
the
you
strength.
can't hand Stephen A. a Bible. Like you're done. You got to argue with him. Max Kellerman did that.
Are you gonna watch just the first episode to see?
Probably
like,
not. No,
Come on,
I'm
you
definitely
guys
not.
are so lame. Fish, are you gonna watch just to see how it goes?
Possibly if I'm not busy.
Oh,
See, I noted how he
Fish
said if I'm not
just-
busy. So
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's kind of.
Fish stays busy. That's for sure.
He's not doing it.
All right. Well, let's hit our break. And will you tell us about our friends at Levels?
I already did levels. What's wrong with you, Kennedy? Pay
When
attention.
did we do Levels?
Oh my goodness. What are we doing here? What kind of show?
2
are we
breaks
running
ago,
here?
I believe.
What are we doing? Kennedy, get your
Lady
stuff
Jane's?
together. Thank you.
All right,
Sorry.
let me take over this because I took off the hat because the commercial's coming. All right, we're talking about Lady Jane's because, guys, we're a simple bunch. We like Sunday football and the feel of the TV remote in the palm of our hand. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sit down, and before you know it, your hair is game ready. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime because it's wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With historically low interest rates and 5-star service, you could pay your mortgage off faster without increasing your monthly payment. Get started now at 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Call hallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back, everybody. You're tuning into the Morning Wood on the Woodward Sports Network. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on this beautiful Friday. The weekend is here. It's around the corner. You got to get through today. We can do this. It's going to be great. And then you can tune into us again for football tonight. So that's awesome. All right. So you have to pick someone to take the final shot. Your options are Kobe, Jordan, or LeBron to hit the final shot to win the game. Who are you choosing and why? Jeffrey.
All right, so let me just walk you through statistical lane real quick. All right, these are the three in their late clutch situations. All right, we got a Kobe Bryant. who is 5 for 22 in game-winning shots. He's 23%. You got a Michael Jordan, who's 7 for 15, 47% from his attempt to shoot a game winner. And then you got LeBron James, who's 12 for 23, 52%. And I'm just saying those statistics before the argument because Michael Jordan is, in a lot of people's eyes, the most clutch player of all in all time, in all NBA. Like, you got your Kobe Bryant's, but the statistics say Kobe did miss a lot of those game winner shots. He was able to take them. He had the kahunas to take them. No one else on that team was taking the shot besides Kobe, but he wasn't necessarily successful a lot of the time. So I think between these conversations between Jordan or LeBron, and I'm gonna slightly favor Jordan, and I hate saying this, but I want to hear your opinion on the LeBron statistic because you and Stick,
it's a bogus statistic.
No, hold on. Let me finish.
Well, don't ask me then.
I'm saying I'm gonna ask you. All right, listen. I got Michael Jordan number one. He's
Get
the
that
GOAT.
bum off the list. He doesn't deserve to be in that
GOAT.
conversation. LeBron is the GOAT.
No,
careful.
This guy talks and he doesn't listen. I just said Michael Jordan's the GOAT, and he said LeBron's the GOAT.
Careful.
No, I said Michael Jordan's the GOAT.
Careful.
He's LeBron's top 3 player of all time easily. So you got, Michael Jordan. He might have a slightly less percent, but I trust him with the last shot. If I had a last shot, you don't look at percentages. You look at will, and you look at killer instinct. I'm giving it to Michael Jordan. He could take a tougher shot. He could hit anything. But LeBron James, 52%. He has more. He has 5 more game winners.
Have you seen where his game winners have come from?
What does that matter? Like, what do you mean by that?
Okay.
What do you mean by that?
Well,
like,
okay, my friend.
Like layups.
Kobe Bryant, overtime game winner, Phoenix, Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals. Michael Jordan, game winner, Game 6 of the NBA Finals against the Utah Jazz, Cleveland Cavaliers, Jazz, Suns, Blazers. He's done it on the biggest stages. And because LeBron's done it multiple times in regular season,
he's done it in playoffs,
and then he had one lucky shot against Orlando, and then the even luckier shot, the floater against Toronto. We're here and gonna, oh my God, LeBron is 12 of 23. He deserves to be in the conversation. Get LeBron away from these two. He doesn't even deserve to be in this conversation. Kobe was an absolute killer and should be number 2 on the list, only to MJ. MJ hit the shots on the biggest scenes. It's not even an argument. It's MJ, next topic, move on. But LeBron has no business being on the list.
I don't know about that.
He has no business being on the list. The guy has passed up more big-time shots like he did in Miami when he shot the ball.
It's not true.
He missed it. They got the rebound. Ray Allen hit the shot. Let me remind you, D. Wade hit multiple shots late into those postseason
People forget
runs.
he scored 16 in that fourth quarter.
Great.
So
he doesn't take clutch shots, though. I'm not disregarding LeBron's play, but we're talking about a last-minute shot. LeBron is the last-minute passer. He's not the last-minute shooter. You can tell me 12 and 23 all you want. It's between Kobe and it's between MJ. I don't want to hear LeBron anywhere. Don't you dare put them anywhere near Kobe, rest in peace, and Michael Jordan. I don't want to hear it. He's not even in the conversation. Give me a break. Give me a break.
I'm not saying you're
you
wrong.
LeBron fans. It's people like you that ruin the NBA.
What did I say?
The fact that you even have this guy.
He's in there.
No, he's not.
He's a top 3 player of all time. How do you
not.
not have him in any conversation in terms of?
He can be a top 5, a top 3 player. I don't care where you put him.
And he has more game winners than both of them. You got to have him in a conversation.
He has more game winners. But you're talking about clutch. His game winners are.
I get that.
Like, you could just pull them up on the screen if you wanted and Google LeBron James's game winners. What the running to the left shot against Orlando when he was in Cleveland, I believe it was game 1 of the first round. That's what oh my God, he's done it. What, Toronto in the conference semis? A floater? Those are your clutch playoff shots. Kobe, Western Conference Finals, game winners. Kobe, multiple times in the Western Conference Finals, not just against Phoenix. MJ, we all know what he's done in the finals. It's Kobe and MJ. It's not even... Holy crap! I can't believe LeBron. Who even put this together?
Who would you put besides LeBron?
Nobody should ever be in that conversation outside of MJ and Kobe. Nobody has proven that they have that mentality and clutch ability outside of MJ and Kobe. It's not even a conversation. You can have LeBron with everybody else in the pact. He does not deserve.
There isn't.
He does not deserve. I don't care how many game winners he's hit. He doesn't deserve to be in that argument. Who would you rather have to hit the final shot, Kobe, Jordan, or LeBron, to win the game? It's either Kobe or MJ. LeBron.
I don't have a problem with that.
LeBron
but he's in the
is
conversation.
not in the conversation. It's
the guy has the same amount of game
that's
winners
all
as
you
both
can
of them.
fall to, though.
But I'm just saying that
regular season.
Not regular season. There's some playoff game winners, but I want to say this because I understand where you're coming from. In terms of killer instinct, Jordan and Kobe are one of the greatest of all times. They're basically similar players. So if Jordan has that killer instinct, Kobe had.
Duke is making a better argument than you right now. Damian Lillard deserves to be more in that conversation than LeBron James. We're talking about
the greatest players of all time. Like Dame Lillard
is not one of the greatest players, but he's one of the greatest clutch shooters of all time. He sent multiple teams home in a Game 7 last second shot. Like LeBron James, yes, he's hit game winners. Never on the biggest stage. Go look in Golden State, Kyrie. Go look in Miami, D Wade, Ray Allen. Cleveland round 1, he didn't hit any. Did he hit some in the first round, second round, semifinal? Sure. Wow. He doesn't deserve to be in that conversation. Dame more so deserves to be in it than LeBron. I'm sorry. And this isn't LeBron hate. Open your ears. He's a top 3 player of all time. But just because he has 12 game winners doesn't mean he is clutch or I want him taking the last second shot. No, give me Kobe and give me MJ. It's not even close. I'm sorry. You guys are way off on this one. LeBron doesn't deserve to be in the conversation. I don't want to hear it. And explain to me, Jeff, outside of 12 for 23, I'm going to give you the floor. Outside of 12 of 23, why would I rely on LeBron James, who has proven throughout his career that he's always going to make the right play and facilitate? Why would I trust him with the ball going down the stretch for a final shot? I want a shot maker, and that's Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and even Damian Lillard to an extent, even though I don't want to put him in that conversation. Explain to me.
So number one, it's simply he's up in this conversation because of the respect. Like you're not going to put LeBron if you have as much. I'm saying this argument. It's not my main argument, but it's a generality of why he's in here. Like if the guy has the same amount of game winners as both of them combined, and he has the same amount taken as Kobe, like that's why he's in this conversation. I get what you're saying. Those two have killer instincts. They can hit tough shots. LeBron makes those plays. He passes the ball. He's going to the rack with one instinct. I'm either going to shoot this shot or I'm dishing it. Like there's not like I don't think he ever has the mentality of I'm just going to pass the ball. I don't want to take the shot. Like it's mostly based off situational. And I think LeBron, like I get what you're saying about the finals, but there has been multiple, and I mean multiple occurrences where this man in the fourth quarter has played extremely well for his team, and in the finals,
but it's not a game-winning shot.
I get what you're saying, like, and I get the last shot usually is for the best shooters, and LeBron has never been a terrific shooter. He's had a Kyrie, he's had other guys who can take that last shot, but when he has to, he makes them. So it's like, what are we talking about? Like, I get what you're saying. I don't argue he's one on this list. I mean, the facts say he is, but MJ's more clutch with his mentality. Kobe's, he's Mamba mentality. I get what you're saying, but there's no reason LeBron, with 12 shots, and he's not even a shoot first guy, and he has 12 game winners. I mean, does that not say anything to you? Kobe and Jordan shot. As soon as the game came to an end, it's going to them. They're shooting the ball, whether it goes in or not.
Okay, Jeff.
So
Jeff, I get what you're saying.
Like that's
and I'm gonna respect Bron's game and his accomplishments. But again, who do I want taking a last second shot? A guy who can create space, get his own shot, not rely on getting to the basket. Who's gonna be able to deliver me a shot, a difficult shot when needed? LeBron isn't that. Does he have 12 game winners? Absolutely. Great. He has 5, I think, that are in the playoffs. One's a bank shot. Well, 2 are bank shots. One's a drive to the lane where he dunked it with like 0.1 seconds left. The other's a 3-point shot against Orlando. The other is the fadeaway in the corner against Chicago. Okay. Like, I got Kobe sending teams to the finals. I've got MJ winning finals with last-second shots. And some, again, like this is like game-winning shots. The reason why MJ didn't have 12, 15, 18, like regardless, is he was usually making the shot with 27, 28 seconds left that killed the game.
Right.
And that's not to discredit LeBron's 12. It's impressive. but I'm sorry. Michael and Kobe are at a different level. They're just at a different level than LeBron. I respect LeBron's game. I think he's great. Great potential across the board. He's been a phenomenal player all these years. But I remind you, Ray Allen hit those shots in the big game. D Wade down the stretch. Yes. Shots, too. Yes. LeBron got them down there with his play, of course. But I mean, under a minute. Go look at his NBA Finals record. That's the heat of the moment. I need one guy to save my life. To take a shot under a minute left in the game? Oh, it's not even a conversation, MJ and Kobe. Before even LeBron's even brought up in the conversation. But we'll leave it there. We've got Fish's Facts coming up. Kennedy, take us away, please.
Yes. Best time of the whole show. Fish's Facts coming up next. But I do have to tell you how you can win front row tickets to the 49ers game versus the Lions. Wicked Awesome Wishes and The Morning Show are giving away front row tickets to the Lions vs. 49ers on September 12th. Enter online at wickedawesomewishes.com and tell us about who you are nominating for your tickets. You have until now until Thursday, to give some great seats to a big Lions fan who deserves an awesome day. So make sure you go to wickedawesomewishes.com and tell us who your nominee is. Like we said, up next, Fish's Facts. This is Woodward Sports.
Would you like to win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time?
Then watch as we turn this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
Watch the Call Sam Chopper Shop on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Is it time? Yeah, it is. Fish!
Go fish.
Fish Facts.
It's fish!
Alrighty, today, it's final here. It's Friday, and we have a video for you to get your day started. This is they do replays in soccer. If any of you are not aware, they do replays where they, a foul happens or a possible penalty, they go to the board. This is the ref checking a foul. They should do this in the NFL. So he's going over to the sideline to see the board. If they do this in the NFL, I would love to see more replays in the NFL. Have a little there's the screen. He looks okay, done.
What? Where's
the
effort?
See, the video did not even play, so he just saw a still picture of whatever happened.
Tell me you're not doing your job without actually telling me you're not doing your job.
That's why soccer sucks.
Now, he is communicating with another guy, so he does have someone else in his ear explaining to him what's happening, but that's the only picture of the play that he gets. And, if they did that in the NFL, I would welcome replays for everything. Pass interference, late hits, whatever they need, because that was no more than 2 seconds, and it's a still image.
That is the most half-ass thing I've from a ref. Hey, listen, if the man's got a place to be, he's got a place to be. Let him do his thing. All right, I don't know why he took a quick. He was out. It took him a second to process that information. He might be the smartest human I've ever witnessed.
It took them longer to take the blue screen off the board and put it back on for an actual look at it.
Yeah, that was pointless, Fish.
We had college football last night. I'm sure one of us was very excited about college football. We have a fact on that coming up. But first, we go to the summer sport of baseball. The Giants and the Dodgers, they have a .634 winning percentage each. This is just the second season in divisional era, 1969, where two teams were met with 130 games plus into a season, each with a .630 win percentage, along with the Yankees at the Dodgers from August 23 to 25, 2019, which means first span with teams, and they're in the same division.
It's going to be a battle. Two teams playing together, playing well in the same division, man.
Giants and Dodgers are a very good rivalry. Speaking of rivalries, Miguel Rojas from the Miami Marlins, first pitch leadoff home run. Jonathan Villar for the Mets, first pitch leadoff home run as well. This is the first time that both teams' leadoff hitters have hit a first pitch leadoff home run in the same game since pitch counts have been tracked since 1988.
What is it, Miguel Rojas?
Yes, Miguel Rojas and Jonathan Villar.
Shout out Miguel.
And Maz loved the Mets, so I guess go Maz.
Maz and the Mets.
Kennedy, this is what you were watching last night, I would hope. The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yep.
I was.
They have now won 22 straight season openers, the third longest streak in the AP poll era since 1936. The team that everyone loves, Alabama, can become the fourth team to win 20 straight 20 straight home openers if they win on Saturday to Miami, Florida, which they probably will.
It got scary in the beginning of that game, Fish.
It did get scary.
It did.
Ohio State it was a tough spot. They had an interception and then bounced back, and they scored 30 plus at the end. So it is what it is.
They look good. Alabama will win their game, so they'll go to 20 straight against.
I don't see Alabama turning out like how Ohio State kind of looked a little bit last night. Even though they both have freshman quarterbacks, I think. I don't know who Alabama plays, but do you know off the top of your head?
Alabama?
Yeah, I don't know who they
play. Miami of Florida.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
and they will kill them.
Yeah.
I believe that's a 3:30 game, which that should have been where the Penn State-Wisconsin game was. But
it's gonna be a good game.
I need to, Adam. Can we get me to schedule these games? Like, who's scheduling these games? Who's scheduling Penn State-Wisconsin for 12 o'clock? Are they ding-dings?
The head coaches schedule the games. They work with each other and they schedule the games, Fish. And the ADs.
Hello, television money is more important than the coaches. ESPN doesn't give a crap what the coaches think. They're not like.
Well, they kind of do, actually. They kind of do. They come
James
to an agreement
Franklin,
like, hey, if we're going to
want?
play you, have to play us at home
Oh,
or
you
vice
want
versa.
noon? Okay, we're okay. Hey, Wisconsin coach, what do you... okay, well, you guys are coaches. You guys are not us. By the way, we make more money than you. Just look at that board back there. We're scheduling it for 7. Like, what?
Doesn't make no sense, Fish.
It does not. We have birthdays today. This guy booed Detroit like 7 or 8 years ago now, so we don't like him. But you may have liked him on 2.5 Men. Charlie Sheen, it is his birthday today, 1965.
Hey, winning. That's what Charlie Sheen stands for.
He is winning. He did get kicked off 2.5 Men though. But
well, he's not winning as much anymore, but you know what I mean? He was for a little bit.
And a kicker that you guys hate, and including me, he tortured us for several years. Mason Crosby. Not very good for him. Not a big fan of Mason Crosby, but hey, some people like Mason Crosby.
Yeah. I don't know. You can't really hate the man, but you know what I mean. It is what it is.
Well, you can't hate him if you're a Lions fan.
Of course.
Speaking of Lions, 10-7.
You dislike them
win.
strongly.
Fish,
those are the
do you
facts.
just say the Lions are going 10-7
Yeah,
just to piss
they
me
are.
off?
Yeah,
He likes to drop that in.
go
Subtle.
10-7.
Very subtle.
It was subtle.
They're going to go 10-7. Crackman said it, and by the way, Crackman...
He's a crackhead.
He has
What do you
no
expect,
relation,
buddy?
but he has no relation to him. His name is Ron Cracchiola or something. So just make sure you read into this stuff before you decide to just assume things, okay? All right, cool. Good talk, everybody. Anyways, those are facts. We'll be back for Monday. Have a good weekend. Have a long, actually Tuesday, because we're off Monday. Have a great, long Labor Day weekend. We got CFL football on Monday, Labor Day Classic. I will be
Fish,
watching
nobody
from
cares
my
about
house.
CFL football.
I went to a
Fish
game.
watches CFL
Ding, ding.
football. Some talented guys coming over from that league.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
talented
Jeff.
guys. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
Yeah,
talented.
very talented.
They're
You know
so
why they stay
talented
in
guys.
Canada?
It's much,
Because they like their country
it's
more than this one.
must-watch TV.
Yes.
It's must-watch TV. If
Fish.
you watch it, you'll be hooked.
You drive me nuts, buddy.
Fish is a true sports enthusiast. He watches all different leagues. He's not, gullible on the one like the NFL. He watches CFL, NFL. He watches a little bit of rugby. You know, he's Fish is the best of both
Sumo
worlds.
wrestling.
Sumo wrestling.
Which starts next Sunday.
Oh,
Adam,
fun
can you watch CFL? Just give it a chance.
What is it?
CFL.
I would never give it a chance. I am a loyal NFL fan, and I will never change. I'd rather watch Pee Wee football than the CFL. Thank you.
He watched Tim Tebow and Stephen A. Smith.
You're disappointed.
He's like, arguable.
Those are facts.
It's
And
debatable.
by the way, today is the 3rd of September.
All right, thanks, Fish. Your facts are always the best because you are the best. All right, so now we're going to talk about college football. Fishy kind of already did that. Go Bucks. They won last night. But which game are you looking forward to this weekend or tonight, and why, Jeff?
I'm kind of torn because our guy Justin came on. I got to be a little, show some favoritism. I think MSU versus Northwestern is going to be a great game. Either that or, like Fish just mentioned, Penn State versus Wisconsin could easily be the game of the weekend. Because let's be honest, we got Michigan versus Western Michigan, who Michigan should win by a lot. 2 touchdowns, I predict. So, if you want to watch a game that's interesting in the game of the weekend, my 2 picks are MSU versus Northwestern, and you could throw in a Penn State versus Wisconsin. Those are my 2 for the Big Ten. And I don't know if Adam will have something similar, but hopefully it ain't Michigan, because they're going to whoop Western Michigan's behind.
Yeah, that's not even going to be a close game. It'll be a fairly easy game for Jim Harbaugh and Michigan. I'm looking forward to Michigan State Northwestern tonight. I'm sorry, that's the game I think Northwestern will win. I'm curious, again, why the line is so close. Maybe I'm wrong about Northwestern. I still think they're an overall better team.
Right now, yeah.
Right now, going into week 1 than Michigan State. Could I be wrong? Sure, of course. But I don't see it with Michigan State yet. It's been very quiet coming out of camp. They could surprise me. They could surprise a lot of people. But I don't expect them to be 7-8 win team. So how are they going to compete with a Northwestern that's bringing back a majority of their starters? I have a tough time going about it. And to be honest, they did beat Northwestern last year. Northwestern is coming with a vengeance, especially on the season opener. That is the game I'm looking most forward to. Alabama-Miami, maybe 20 years ago, if you took prime Miami and prime Alabama now, that would have been an amazing matchup. It definitely isn't. The game I'm looking most forward to has got to be Clemson versus Georgia. That is the game of the weekend. I am so excited for it. Heisman alert. Clemson quarterback, I like the matchup. How's he going to perform against an SEC defense? Georgia, JT Daniels, also a Heisman contender. Is this the year Georgia finally beats Bama and gets to a college football playoff and makes a run? So much. I don't think a loss to either team, whoever does lose this game, it doesn't hurt them as long as they don't get blown out. So they'll still have an opportunity to make the college football playoff. I like it. That's the game of the weekend, for my opinion. I think if Michigan doesn't win by more than 28, 35 points, I think it's embarrassing. They need to dominate Western Michigan. McDonald, it's his first game as defensive coordinator for Michigan. I'd like to see them give up less than 10 points. I think it'd be a good confidence booster for a team that's really been leaking on defense as of late. So Kennedy, those are the games I'm looking most forward to. Excited to have college football back.
Yeah.
So excited.
It's the best time for sure. But yeah, I got to agree with you that Georgia-Clemson game is tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. That's going to be nuts for sure. Watch out, Heisman's, yes. But my favorite team, Notre Dame, is playing one of my least favorite teams in the nation, Florida State, on Sunday at 7:30 p.m. So that's going to be my favorite game to watch. I hope the Fighting Irish just come out and crush them, because there was just, when I first really started getting into football, it was when Florida State was really good. So I still have a bad taste in my mouth from when they were up there with Bama and they were beating Ohio State, and I just could not stand Florida State. So I still can't. They're not where they were before. So Notre Dame should win, fingers crossed. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I mean, you've got Penn State, Wisconsin, early Big Ten action. You have
that was my pick. Yeah.
You have Indiana, Iowa. There's meaningful games week 1. Usually you see them play the FCS teams or some garbage team where they're just putting up points and they're getting a feel for it, similar to what Michigan's doing, honestly. So we'll see. I'm excited. You have the Northwestern Tech Michigan State game. We already kind of went over it. I think Navy Marshall is an interesting matchup if anybody's interested. I just love watching football, so believe me, I'll be on my television set all weekend. I can't wait. It'll be fun.
Yeah. It'll be a great weekend for some football. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us right here on the Woodward Sports Network. We have been the Morning Wood with Jeff and Adam and Fishy in his booth and Alex in his booth, and then me, Kennedy. You are watching or listening to Woodward Sports, featured on the Roar 93.5 FM, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 HD2. We will see you after this long weekend.